Hey, 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 this is Charlotte.
And I'm Daryl.
And we are the
Bakers.
And we are here for another episode of Truth for Daily Living. And we have another great guest that is waiting in the studio. And so we're going to get started right away. So as soon as we come back, we're going to bring up our special guest. All righty. See you in a moment. All right, let's bring her on up. Who do we have? Dr. Valerie Greene in the house. Hello, Dr. Val.
Hello, my friends.
How are you?
I am doing very well. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Great. Thank you for being a guest on our on our show, Truth for Daily Living. Okay. And I was about to say welcome. Truth for Daily Living. We have Dr. Val in the house. And we're just going to preview our topic before we let her get started. Our topic is two populations in need of assistance. Who will heed the call? Right? And I think that's apropos to what we're going to talk about during this episode. So with that being said, I want to make sure we remind you too that, we're loading up different episodes. And so our previous episode is coming out soon. Okay. So make sure you go to our link tree and you can find that. But we were talking about really the continent of Africa. So make sure you check that out. It's going to be released soon. Okay. So now with that being said, let's give the floor to Dr. Val with the first question, which is introduce yourself, please.
Hey, my friends. Thank you so much for inviting me to be on your podcast. It's truly a blessing. I am Dr. Valerie Greene. My background profession is about 12 years in education and over 25 years in healthcare administration. In healthcare administration, I done quality assurance, credentialing, provider credentialing, project directing. I've done an amalgamation of things in healthcare. My degrees are, I have a BA in management, I have a MBA, and I have a doctorate of education in organizational leadership with an emphasis on Christian ministry. I have one grown son and two grandchildren, and VG3, he's the third generation with Vincent Greene, my grandson, and then my granddaughter is Ariana.
Woohoo! You sound like that's a mouthful.
Oh, yeah.
All those degrees, that is a mouthful, but congratulations.
Sound like a lot of work to me.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Absolutely.
So yeah, welcome again to Truth for Daily Living. And so we have Dr. Valerie Greene, and we're going to get into now with all the education and experience and degrees. We want to know, do you have a company?
Yes, I have two companies. The first one is Grander Senior Advantage, where I serve the elderly population. And the second is Dr. V's Transforming to Excellence, which is a learning platform that I have for kindergarten through fourth grade. I coach the educators and train parents.
Okay, great.
And also there's another portion of the company where I mentor individuals with their learning and educational journey.
Okay.
So when we talked about the topics, I guess she's let the cat out of the bag, as they say, the two populations in need of assistance. Who will heed the call? So it sounds like you have picked up the mantle and you are heeding the call. So you gave us the name of the businesses. Tell us about whichever one you want to do first, your goods and or services that you provide to those two populations.
Oh, sure. I'll start with Grander Senior Advantage. That population, of course, these are seniors, and we provide help them navigate through the already services that are available to them. We help them navigate. We advocate not in a way of laws, but help them advocate if they're having problems getting those different services. We educate and train the community. We educate and train family members on supporting their elderly individuals. So that's Grander Senior Advantage. Dr. V's Transforming to Excellence. I talked about it a little bit. It's a learning platform where we support kindergarten through fourth grade, and we specifically work with the students that are below level and bringing them up to level. And we provide training for the parents and the educators that are connected to those students. We try to provide alignment with the parent, the student, and the educator. And then we want to add a community component to help with some of the individuals. And the second leg of that is also supporting other individuals in their educational journey, helping people with their research projects, helping other individuals who's getting a doctorate. We support that as well.
Now, real quick, just this is a little side note. How was that doctorate journey?
It was a journey that I'll never do again. For me, it was life still was moving with me trying to get a doctorate. And what I mean is it was the hardest thing I ever done. And life was still moving. During my doctorate, pursuing my doctorate, I lost several family members. I got a divorce. I had to move. And I still had to pursue the doctorate in the midst of all of that. I ran out of money while I was pursuing the doctorate. And I had some good friends, a friend who was pursuing a doctorate, and her husband funded part of the monies that I needed when I ran out. The committee members and the different things while pursuing the doctorate, that was very grueling because the what am I trying to say? The different things when we had to pursue and write our dissertation, the rules kept changing. And we were not grandfathered in, which meant that I had to write additional pages. And then getting down to the defense, I had a committee member who was just giving me a hard time. He imposed on me adding different information to my study that was already completed. And so it was very arduous. People asked me, should they go get a doctorate? And I said, you have to really be up for the charge because, and what I tell them is that life still happens when you're trying to pursue something that challenging. And so if you're not up for the charge, if you don't have a determination, if you don't have confidence, if you don't have any fight in you, then you don't need to do it because you're going to have to be determined to get through it. If life happens to you, you still have to pursue. And so that was my doctoral journey.
Okay. And the reason I asked, because there may be somebody out there, whether they're married or not, maybe divorced as well, that's saying, you know what, I'm not going to do it. And they may just give up too soon. So I just wanted you to share that to let people know that some people do go through challenges when they're pursuing higher education, but that doesn't necessarily mean you need to immediately give up. You got to, count the cost, see if you can press through it, get through it. And then because you did, now we can call you Dr. V.
Absolutely.
You earned the Dr. V.
Absolutely.
I know some people say, well, honorary doctorates. I just say, hey, you earned it. Honorary, but you earned yours. So congratulations again on that. Yes.
I have a question.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So why did you feel the need to to provide services for the communities that you selected. Because there's two different spectrum. You're talking about the babies, basically, and then you're talking about the seniors. Okay, so that's a big gap.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah,
there's a big gap, but something drew you to those two areas, right? So, and then you chose for the children, you chose. Did you say first grade through fourth grade, or did you say kindergarten through fourth grade? Fourth grade, kindergarten through fourth grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a significant area
Mm-hmm.
right there, and that's a building block,
Mm-hmm.
and that's important too. And then you go to the seniors. So if you kind of elaborate on those two areas for us, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Well, with the seniors, let me just give you a little background of why I pursue the seniors. With the pleasure of taking care of my parents before they transitioned on, I saw the need for navigating and advocating for seniors. Both my parents went through some medical issues where if I did not intervene, they would not have lived as long as they did.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, so with helping taking care of them and navigating it, God just automatically, I think I've already automatically had a heart to support. And with me helping my parents, I realized that there are other individuals out there, elderly individuals that don't have a Valerie, that don't have a Dr. Val. And so, or a family member that has the the determination like I have, to support and to press on to help them. So that's why Grander Senior Advantage was birthed. By default, I fell into the educational system. I got laid off from the healthcare administration field 3 different times. And so in between all of the layoffs, with the degrees I had, I was able to substitute in the educational system. And then I got kind of, I say sucked in to that. And then it's like, right now I'm asking God, why am I there? But I know why I'm there, because I do care about the care of the children, our children. Mm-hmm. And I've been in different positions in the educational system. So I was able to see the children's side, the educator side, the parent side. So with all of that experience and knowledge, God gave me Dr. V's Transform into Excellence. And that's why I want to try to create an alignment with the educator, the parent, and the student. So why the vast difference? Like you said, you have Grander, elderly on one side, and then K through fourth grade. Recently, God gave me a vision where how I can connect the youth and the elderly. And so even though it's a vast difference, but I am seeing a connection. And the connection will be birthed through the fact that witnessing the children in the educational system, we have lost a lot. We have lost values and morals and ethics. We are losing the different things that are important to us. Our children are not being taught that. So if I bring the elderly together with the youth, we can preserve
and bridge the gaps.
Yeah, right? Bridge the gaps.
We can, gap, and things like that. So that's what I see.
So basically you're saying you saw the need working with children on this end of the spectrum, and then jumping all the way to working with seniors. And that's how you truly discovered that there was a need, there was a gap. especially working in the school system. I did
Absolutely.
that as well. So we both have seen the
Mm-hmm.
gap in that area. So
Mm-hmm.
it's commendable that you took that leap, even though you kind of like were pushed into that with the school piece, but you were able to see things, and then out of that, you birthed the particular company that focuses on mostly on what, tutoring. That's basically what you're providing, tutoring
Mm-hmm.
services in
Mm-hmm.
conjunction with the
I don't
parents.
call it tutoring.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what
I
you
don't
call
call it tutoring. It's a little bit more than tutoring.
it?
And I
Mm-hmm.
say that because I deal with the whole person.
That's
And
good.
it's looking at why this person is struggling. And I take the children back to the basis. You know, uh, I'm taking them away from the computers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to them, seeing what's in their heart, why they are struggling with learning, why they don't like learning, why they're having a hard time with learning, and putting a curriculum together, a plan together to support my findings. And so we create a learning plan that will encompass all of that, whatever the child is struggling with, if it's social emotional, they do that in the school. But when you have that one-on-one support and that one-on-one connection, I think is more powerful.
Oh, that's awesome right there. That's great.
Yeah, that's
So in
great.
other words, you're taking an assessment basically of what the children are
Mm-hmm.
missing, and then learning about them, and just not just making a determination based upon past experiences,
Mm-hmm.
but making sure that you
Mm-hmm.
understand and tapping into them as an individual, and then I like the fact that you customize a plan, that
Mm-hmm.
you have actually taken assessment of, so you can work that plan to help them better their situation. And then you also stated that you connect the children with the parents and the parents with the educator.
Mm-hmm.
Now that
Mm-hmm.
right there that's huge and that's powerful as well, because the fact that in order for the student to be successful,
Mm-hmm.
the parents need to
Mm-hmm.
be connected with the child connected with the parent, and the parent connected with the educator, and those three relationships needs to work in harmony in order for them to be successful, especially if they are experiencing some challenge in learning. So is that correct?
That's correct. And what I found is that a lot of parents, they don't understand a lot of things in the educational system. They don't even understand the plight of the teacher. So um, along with building a curriculum for the or learning individual learning plan for the student, I also educate the parent. I create a parent guide, and the guide talks about the different things that's in the school, questions they should ask, what different things mean. um, I also talk about how to support them with homework, things like that. And when I have one-on-one with parents after I have spent time with the student, i I'm real with them.
Mm-hmm.
If the kid is not focused or defiant or whatever, I give them the side. I understand the child, but I can also tell them, if your child is acting this way in school and the teacher has 26 students, they're not going to get the support that they need
Mm-hmm.
if they're acting like this. If they
Mm-hmm.
shut down or whatever, and they're quiet, the kid might just be kind of left behind, because she has to or he has to deal with other students. So we have to deal with that. I do a lot of talking when I'm tutoring the kid, um, trying to motivate them, trying to get them to understand the importance of why you need to stay focused,
Mhm. That's
things like
good.
that.
And I remember, excuse me, I remember one of the conversations that we had offline is that you taking assessments of the parents and you're teaching them how to navigate without them understanding that that's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Absolutely.
all right, because of the fact that now it does not, it relieves the pressure, or perhaps it relieves the pressure of them really making a commitment when you basically providing them with resources, information that's going to be valuable to them to learn how to interact with their
Absolutely.
with the instructor too, right? So
That's
so
that's right.
that makes it really, really easy, and it's seamless. Okay, that transition is seamless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have
Mhm,
already made it so smooth for them to open up the door of communication with the educator, and
mhm,
that's valuable right there. So
mhm,
that's wisdom. I mean, how did you
mhm.
come up with that?
Absolutely. Mhm.
So what was the end role for you to come up with that model?
The end role to come up with the model of the connection with the parent and the educator,
Yes.
um, because I supported and helped one of my friends' grandchildren, um, uh, grandchild, who was getting ready to get actually kicked out of school. And
Mm-hmm.
so, with dealing with the parents and understanding what the problem was, I was able to articulate certain things that they did not understand. And I was
Mm-hmm.
able to also support them in going to a meeting and sitting down with the principal, the social worker, and that child's teacher at a table to discuss, what was going on with the child.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to, I put a plan together um, to help the child navigate through some of the issues that he was having. Unfortunately, that plan did not get into motion because they decided to kind of move the child away from the school,
Mm-hmm.
um, because the school did not have all of the components to deal with some of the issues that the child had.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Mhm,
to me, it's interesting that I think you definitely have to have a compassion level, a certain type of compassion
mhm,
level to work with either population because it's going to take the key word I
mhm,
say is the P word patience. Whether you're dealing with
mhm,
youth
mhm,
or you're dealing with seniors. So if you're watching this today, know that there's assistance, whether you're married or not. I know we speak to the married population,
mhm,
but if you have children,
mhm,
there is
mhm,
help, such as her program that's
mhm,
available, especially if you're in a certain area in the US. And also, if you need advice or you need maybe information about you as a couple, maybe are working with your senior or somebody, your mom or your mother-in-law, or your father-in-law, right? And you like, I don't even know how to begin this
mhm,
process. Dr. V is the person to plug into
mhm,
because she has
mhm,
personally experienced what it means to deal with taking care of her parents and also right now still working with children. So make sure you, when we get to the end of this, make sure you plug into Dr. V. But I think that's commendable. It really is
mhm.
commendable.
Oh, it is absolutely.
So, in your opinion, of all the things kids need, what is one thing you could say children need the most? So, parents, if you're listening to this, listen to Dr. V because she's in the trenches. I was in the trenches as well, working in school systems, but she's still in the trenches working. So,
Mhm,
listen because if you're a parent, again, I think you made a key point when you said sometimes parents don't understand. They send their kids to school and they don't really understand what's happening in the classroom. 26 students,
mhm,
30 students. If you're in high school, you might have 40 students. So parents don't really understand that. So give them a clue
mhm.
as you tell us what is one of the most important things you think children need. And then I'm going to ask you the same question about seniors.
I have to say love, but love in the way of being patient and having the time to actually connect and talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I find students just migrate to me and tell me all of what's going on. And I have to keep a straight face because some of it is deep,
Right. It's deep. Mm-hmm.
and I can see when they're talking to me as I'm paying attention because I'm being attentive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting my hand on their shoulder. I'm showing them that I care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling them I'm sorry you've gone through that. They want to know that you are really listening to them.
Right.
They like to talk and they'll tell you. And sometimes, we are so busy. Oh, I'll talk to me tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. and maybe tomorrow the kid may not want to talk. So I say they want to have a conversation. They want to know that you are listening to them. They want to know.
Hey, I hope you are enjoying this podcast episode. We just want to share a few things that's coming up. What are some things that you would like to share that's coming up?
So one of the things that's coming up, because we like practicality, right? So we think it's important to teach couples, if we can, because that's our mandate, to teach couples about practical ways you can enrich your marriage. So one of the things that's coming up is our cohort, okay? It's a 6-week cohort for couples. We only do this a couple times a year. So basically it'll be 6 weeks of teaching. We'll talk about hot topics, and then you'll have times where we're on a Zoom call, one-on-one, or basically with a group together to talk about different things. So make sure you go to marriagecourserecipe4success.com to find out about the next date for this 6-week cohort. And we're going to see you there, right? Yes. Right. We want to see you there. Another thing that we talk about related to practicality is tablescape rendezvous for two. So this is an idea that I think works well with building relationships, because you're going to be out there, whether you're on the back deck, your back lawn, a park, enjoying time together, uninterrupted time for 2 hours with prepackaged food, right? And you've experienced that. Really tell them quickly, how was that for you?
Oh yeah, it was absolutely great. And because of the fact that we had the opportunity just to share time, quality time with each other. And the sun was shining. It was a bright day. And we sat in the park. We had food. We had snacks. And then we had cool drinks as well. And it was set up beautifully just for the two of us. And so it was a great opportunity for us to kind of reconnect and then share that quiet moment together.
Yeah.
And kind of break them in, the day-to-day process and implement something new. So it was good.
Yeah, so make sure you go to Tablescape Rendezvous for Two to look at the schedule to see when you can book your 2-hour escapade. That's what I'm going to call it, right? Now, in the middle of another practical step, we are also authors. So we've written a book together, a couple of things, books, manuals. Marriage Takes 3, which is in the back there. And so another book that I just came out with, it's an ebook. It's called The Profitability of Long Suffering. Now, how did I come up with that? Okay. Much meditation, and it was an idea I received. Let's say it like that. It's an idea I received for me to take a look at what profit have I gained in the things that I've been through in my life. Yeah. So I'm not going to tell you more than that, because I want you to go and get your copy of The Profitability of Long Suffering, right? Yes. You need to go to our link tree, which is Linktree Marriage Enrichment. But if you need the exact wording, just go to whether it's IG, TikTok, Twitter, we're everywhere. Facebook, we have our own group page. You'll see our link tree, and there'll be a link at the top that will take you to a place where you can get your copy.
Yes.
All right. So we just wanted to inform you in the middle of this episode. Hope you're enjoying it. And so we're going to be seeing you around. So make sure you stay connected with us in any way possible by subscribing to our channels. Okay. Talk to you. It is the Bakers. Peace.
Well, all seniors are different, because if I compare my dad with my mom, my dad was a lot more, he was, I always say, the better of the two when they got elderly, when they got a little bit older, and she was a little bit more sickly than he was. So he was still like up and about and things like that. So he just needed to know that if he needed something, you were available. You know what I'm saying? You were able, he would call me Valerie, if can I called this place and I was on hold and you had to push one, you had to put, hey, I don't know what all that stuff is. Can you come over here and help me through this? And he just, if you came and you supported him through that, he was just very grateful. So that was one type. So some seniors, I would say, would want you to help them through their problems without them feeling like they are bothered.
Right. So,
they're bothered, because if I had come over and it's like, why you bring me over here,
Right. So could we categorize that as
to help you with, you can't stay on the phone and get through those, that type of thing.
Yeah. So they need support.
And then my mother, they needed support.
Yes.
And then the other type, I would think, my mother, she just because she was a loving individual, she loved people. She wanted love. She just wanted you to be there, you know. She just wanted, you know, you to be there. You know, I would come and I would, if I decide to sing a song, she would join in and harmonize with me. You know, she just needed that company and know that you were there. Companionship.
Yes. Now, isn't that interesting how really the little people and the seasoned people need the same thing? Love and support.
Right.
I mean,
and patience as
yeah,
well.
love, support, patience, and both on both sides of the spectrum.
That goes throughout your journey of life, basically. So at one point you may need it more than others, but nevertheless, you know, the same type of
true. That's true.
Right, the same type of desires still yet run on the same spectrum, so to speak. Right.
So parents, if you're looking at this, whether you're married or not, I hope you're taking some notes. And like I said, be prepared to write down her information if you want to connect with her on any level as it relates to your child, which is very important. Again, as a parent, and like I said, being in the school system and her being, we understand what's actually happening in the classroom. So if you need support, you need to get some tips from somebody that can give you that type of support or information or referral or whatever is needed. And then if you married or not, if you have a senior that you're taking care of, you're helping guide through their latter years, and you're like, I don't know how to do this, I'm about to pull my hair out. She did pull hers out. So she can definitely give you some pointers on what you can do in this season, because it's like, this is new territory. You know, if you're a first time parent, that's new territory. If you just first time, of course, dealing with your elderly parents, that's definitely new territory. And so it can be a challenging thing. You got some thoughts in there. You're thinking, yes.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is that the roles kind of switches as you get older.
Absolutely.
Parents become older as well. So they have taken care of you as a child. And now it's time for you to kind of to help take care of them in that aspect as well. Because of the fact that if a parent have shown you love, concern, and have taken care of you, why not you flip the script and do the same thing? And it's a mindset. It's a mindset, and it also requires you becoming selfless, you know, at a greater level, and doing it, you know, respectfully, but doing it intentionally as well.
Absolutely.
Because I had to take care of my mom at one point in my life as well, because of some medical issues that she've experienced, and then being in the school system. Also, my wife and I both have been. All three of us been in the school system as well. So, and it's important for parents to take an active role in the lifestyle of their children while they're in school, because in fact, it's a lot of pressure for a child to really to perform if they're behind schedule, so to speak, and they need that support, and they need to know that you love them and care about them enough, and you're concerned about them, and to go. And if you show that type of love, then that would encourage them to perform and become and do the best that they can do while they're in the classroom, as opposed to depending upon a teacher to assist them every step of the way.
So let me highlight that. As a parent, whether again married or not, we want you to hopefully take this information. If you are a new parent or you 3 deep in, it doesn't matter. We are asking you to consider to help those that are teachers, me a former teacher, him a former teacher, her currently a teacher. Help us or help them teach properly by preparing simple tidbits such as, I remember this, kids come to school and they sleep. Why? When we were growing up, we had a bedtime. Now, we're not telling you what to do, but we are suggesting. If you want to help with this process of them developing into mature and intelligible young adults, start with the simple things. Let them have a bedtime, parents. And let them get in there, because then when they don't, they're up till midnight or 1 o'clock, which they would tell me when I was teaching, playing on some games, they in class sleep. So they're not learning their math. They're not learning anything because they're so sleepy. So we're giving you the inside scoop today.
And that's taking them back to the basis.
That's the
But
basic.
the problem is the population now don't know what that is.
They don't know what that is. That's why we're having these kind of conversations. We're having this. Consider that's just one tidbit. They need a set early bedtime, all electronics away. This may sound simplistic, man, but it's necessary. All electronics away. I would dare say they don't even need a TV in their room, but that's between you and your spouse. Or if you don't have a spouse, it doesn't matter. But I would dare say they don't even need that because they might try to sneak and look at that. That's something that would help teachers so dramatically to do their jobs a little bit better, because when they're sleepy, they're also cranky. And make sure they eat. If they don't have a breakfast program at school, make sure they eat before they go to school. Because then I had a case where a kid came to school notoriously late, right? And they got to the point where the school said, you know what, we can't feed him anymore for breakfast because it was so late. And it's like almost the parent purposely allowed him to be late. And so then what was happening in the class? He cranky, he mad, he fussing. Almost doing other stuff because he was hungry, he was cranky. So parents, help the teachers teach your children by giving them the basic fundamentals of what they need, especially in a two-parent home. Okay, husband, okay, wife, listen to what we're saying. You need to split that off and figure out who's going to help do what, who's going to get them in bed, who's going to get them to breakfast, whatever the case may be. You have to do that thing to help teachers succeed. I think I didn't said that. I think I said that clearly. Did that help you out, teacher?
Absolutely.
Help the teachers by being a part of the process.
Yes, right.
All right. Now, with that being said, what do you hope to accomplish over the next 5 years with either company? Like, what do you see and want to accomplish in the next 5 years? You can start with the
like I said in the beginning. I hope with the two companies and kind of bridging them together, I hope to preserve some of the things that I see are being lost. The values, the morals, even some legacies, you know, just different things. I will hope to try to preserve that, because knowing what I know now and see what I see every day, I would not like the children at this point to be my future.
Gotcha.
And that's just honest.
I got you.
So I will hope to try to help turn that around. You know, because I would hope to try to help turn that around.
Great.
That's what I think.
And even for the seniors, anything in particular, you know, you forecast the next 5 years, what do you forecast for the senior program?
Just like I said, with the mission of the company, to just really help them to navigate. We have a little slogan, to help them put the puzzles, the pieces of the puzzle pieces of their life together. And when you're a senior and things are moving quick, you might have an ailment or illness and you can't get around like you want to get around. It doesn't feel good. I've talked to many seniors. My mom was notoriously, she would tell me, Val, I don't like being like this. She wanted to be able to go and do things. And we forget about our seniors who are stuck in the house. Some of them are still able to enjoy things, but they just can't go, you know, get out.
Right.
So I will hope to, you know, help those that want to do more, but can't because they are, you know, they can't get out or they're stuck or whatever, to be able to help them to still enjoy their life to the very end.
Great. Now, we already said you've done a lot of things. So among those things, you are an author. So we want you to tell us a little bit about how many books you've written. You can share the titles and where they can be found if you want the audience to know.
Okay, I've written 2 self-published books. And my study that I did, and the published books, the first one I did was with my mom. God gave me the vision for us to get all our poems, short stories out of the bins, out of the, you know, the ones that yellow, bring them together. And so we wrote a book together, and it's called Ma and Da, World of Heartfelt Matters. And then the other book I wrote was Love Truly Has Everything to Do with It. And it's just about, whether your love journey with things or people, how love, no matter what it is, love truly has everything to do with it.
Okay.
And my study with my doctoral degree, I wrote, it was about the elderly, how the elderly people describe their healthcare experiences. And that's a published study. And I got several other books in the pipeline that I haven't, they just kind of there right now.
It's just there right now. I got you. Whether it's books or ebooks, I know it's a lot. You're a writer, so we're always thinking, like me, thinking about writing, right? Always thinking about writing.
One that I want to get out right away is it's called Unexpectedly and Unapologetically Strong. I want to tell about all my life. I have gone through trials and tribulations like everybody else, but your trial, your tribulation is important to you. It's like, it almost feels like you're the only one going through it. But while I was going through all of those different things, I had to be strong. Yes. And so, and that book is just going to say, and like I say, it's going to say, and here is why, and I'll show you why. And then I'll give you some nuggets on, how being determined will help you navigate through all of those different things that you might experience in life.
That's great. That's great. We are so appreciative for you being with us on, again, our podcast, Truth for Daily Living. And so as we kind of wind this down, before we share all your contact information, we started this thing where we like to ask our guests at least one question of the three. And so we want to just kind of bring it in. I think the question I'm going to ask you is, does everyone have a purpose? And you can give us your spin on that.
Absolutely. I think so, whether they know it or not. I think all of us have a purpose. I think some of us ignore our purpose because I have a friend that says that's just one more thing I just got to do. One more thing I have to do that I don't want to do. Because
I'm laughing
because your purpose. And if she's listening, she's gonna know who she is too.
Yeah, you might have to buy her.
And I said all that to say, yes, we all have a purpose, and everybody don't fulfill their purpose because they don't want to do the work.
They don't want to do the work. Oh my!
So that's it in a nutshell.
That's in a nutshell.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, don't want to do the work, and also if there's a lane or a passage of pain. I heard, I think it was Sarah Jake. She said, the pain is the pain. It's like you can't avoid this passage of, like the book I just wrote, The Profitability of Long Suffering, but you can't avoid that path if that path is going to lead you to a greater you. She didn't say that. I'm saying that part. But she was talking about how some people want to abort the passage of difficulty or challenges. And by doing that, you just really keep getting back on the wheel, and you may stay on the wheel if you always are avoiding it. But if you just go through, push through, keep pushing, like that story we heard that time about, it was a true story about the gentleman that was digging for gold. And he kept digging, and then he just got tired, and he ran out of money, and then he ended up saying, forget it, and he sold his land that he had to someone, and they went in with the geologist, and the geologist said, oh, there is gold. And what he found out is, if he had just dug 3 more feet, he would have had gold. But he sold it because he gave up too quickly.
He gave up.
Yeah, and so I think that's connected to what you're saying about purpose. You have to pursue it. You have to discover it. That's another book I wrote called Destiny Takes Time. It's not only just discovering it, but you have to pursue it. You have to put yourself onto that path to say, you know what? I know I was born. I don't know what may not know in the beginning, but I know I was born for a purpose. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody's purpose is not going to be the same. Everybody's not going to be president, vice president of companies or of a country or of a nation, but you're going to have to figure out what were you born to do, to create, to impact other people.
Yeah. I read a quote
right. Absolutely.
recently. I read a quote recently. I think it was Summerall that stated it, and it stated, "If you're going through hell, keep walking. So eventually, you're going to get through it if you keep walking. You find it. So if you're going through difficulties in life, keep moving, keep pressing,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's just a small passage of life. Okay, and then just like you stayed on the other side of it, then what have you learned from it? Have you grown from it? Are you better than you were prior to going through it?
And I know it doesn't seem like that. That's a whole nother podcast. When you're going through it, listen, I could preach that if I had to preach it. Going through, especially when it talks about a long suffering period of time. And so if you want to know more about that, we'll talk about that. But you check out our book, Profitability of Long Suffering. But yeah, it's like, wow, I have really enjoyed my time with Dr. V in the house.
Same here.
You have any upcoming initiatives, anything coming up soon? Or you're planning something?
No, just working on the businesses and taking training classes to try to get federal contracting and grants, and just really trying to, boost that so we can carry this vision.
Yes, we are both walking into the sunset. We haven't done a podcast about that in reference to government contracts. That's a whole nother lesson. But we are going after that because we know we need the big dollars to accomplish our big visions. And it can, income can come from customers, but it also can come from, as we're talking about, government contracts. So we'll talk about that. You got to catch us and find out. Make sure you're plugged in. So when we start talking about that, you'll know. And be a part of that conversation. So one of the places where they can find you is at grandeuradvantage.org. Is that correct?
That's
make sure you go there and check out her website to find out more information. And then she has shared her Facebook with us, Miss Val. So if you want to, become friends now, become friends. You need information.
That's it.
Okay. You need information.
That's right.
And then her email, which is on the website, drval125@gmail.com. So all that's on the website, so I don't have to keep showing that. But that's the website address. Is there anything you want to add as we prepare to end this episode of Truth for Daily Living with Dr. V?
No, I just kind of want to just thank you guys for inviting me to be on your podcast to tell my story, and that the two, what did we say at the beginning? The two, what was your quote?
Populations. There it is. There you go.
Oh yeah, just to think about the two populations and how you can support and help those populations, because they're both important. You have the elderly who are all. I'm getting there. I chuckled the other day that I'm serving the elderly population, and I'm becoming.
I get it. Yeah, that's better than
just to think about it, pray about it, and support.
Right. That's better than the final alternative that we all have to do. If you're still breathing, that means you still have a chance.
Yes.
And that's what we want to encourage everyone out there, single, married. If you're still breathing, you still have an opportunity to get it right. If you're not exactly where you want to be, not doing exactly what you want to do, you need to sit down and figure out what it is you think you're supposed to do and start forecasting about how can you get there. Because if every day you wake up is another opportunity, man. And I think some people take that for granted. Even the children. Some children we've seen, and that's a whole nother podcast. Some don't even think they have long life. They don't have beyond just where they are. They think it's just phones and video games, and that's it. It's so much more to life than that. So, but that's a whole other podcast. You want to add anything before we?
Well, we just appreciate you coming on and also sharing, the vision that God has given you, and then also your desire to help the community, because what you're doing and what you put together and what you have to offer, is very much needed. But it's also you're going to need a team as well. So you plan on building a team to basically to get your
Absolutely.
services into the community also, because I see it
Absolutely.
as being very successful. It's a
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
much needed program
Absolutely.
that's available. And then you become, and then one of the things you did state as well, because children basically um, do not trust until they know that um, that you uh, that you care about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, and if you present yourself as being caring and loving, non-threatening,
Mm-hmm.
then they want to open up
Mm.
because they
Let's
have a
go.
lot of things that they're carrying that they don't get a chance to unpack or unload. And then that's where levels of frustration. So they are blessed to have you,
Mm-hmm.
and to have you as a resource to
Okay.
be able to come to you and share
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that they've been able to share. And it doesn't fall on deaf ears. But now you're taking the
Right.
information and you're using it to the advantage of the students, and also you're using it for the advantage of the educators and the parents. So that's powerful
Mm-hmm.
right there. So I
Yeah.
want to commend you, and also
Yes.
pray that
Okay.
you will
Thank you.
continue to grow in that area, and that you will build
All
big
right. Thank
business, but
you.
you will build a big team as well to help you to help you
Mm-hmm.
along your journey.
All right. I think we're going to end
Okay.
it
Thank
there.
you.
We're going to end
Okay.
it. All right.
All right.
Dr. V, we may have you on
All right.
again, maybe with a panel or
Okay.
something. Be working some stuff in the works, but we
Okay.
appreciate
Nice.
it. Thank you so much
All
for
right.
being with us. And
Okay.
remember, if you want to get in contact with her, make sure you go to Facebook is one, but her mainly you can go to her website. I'm trying to click on her website. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still not her
Mm-hmm.
website.
There we go.
That's it.
That's it
No,
right
no,
It's
no.
under
there.
there. It's under there.
It's
Uh-huh.
under
There
there.
it is. Uh-huh.
It's
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 under
scrolling.
there.
Looking at the
Uh-huh.
scrolling. Yes,
It's
but we
scrolling.
thank you
Yes, it is.
for being a part of this
Mm-hmm.
podcast. We'll be talking to you soon, okay?
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right. Well, that's another episode for us. And before we end, we will always like to share what we're doing. And so, some of the things we do, because we are one of the companies we do, we provide services to those that are engaged or married. And our hope is to help you to enrich your marriage, your relationship one
One
day
day
at a
at a
time.
time.
And in
Yes.
order to do that, it takes steps, it takes strategies. So, one of the things we offer is this: we have a marriage course recipe digital course that we provide. It is a 6-week course to help couples tackle different topics that can happen in marriage. We've been married almost 20, what to
Four
be, yeah, be 24
four
years
years
next year,
next
but
year.
we've been married 23 plus years. So this is something that's based on our experience. We've counseled other couples before in the past, so make sure you check that out by going to our website for that. And that is Marriage Course Recipe for Success. There it is right there. Okay. And some of the other things we do, because we believe in mixing practicality with spirituality, but the practical side, one of the other things that we provide is this. One of the things that I really enjoy doing, and let me roll this up a little bit, but it's Tablescape Rendezvous for Two.
Mm.
What do you like about that?
Well, it's an opportunity for a couple to get together and spend a quality time together, and be able to, reconnect at another level, and enjoy some of the food that's made available to you. It can be in a secluded place. It can be in an open area. Whether you do it in the park, you can do it in your backyard. You can do it on your back deck, and just make it a special event for you and your partner. Okay. So,
Great, great. So that's another one of the practical things that we provide. We have also, we are authors.
mm-hmm.
Okay. And so one of the books that we have written is called what? Marriage
Marriage
Takes
Takes
Three.
Three.
And that we have also have a workbook with that. That's available on Amazon.com. You can look it up by our name. You can also, if you want a specialized copy of the book, you can go to our website, which is enrichmymarriage.com. And then we can send you a little special message in that if you are looking for a specialized copy. But make sure you get that. Even if you're not married, it's a good book because it's good to learn beforehand. So some stuff you can avoid, right? Mm-hmm. So some stuff you can avoid. Okay. Now, another book that just came about when we were just talking about it with Dr. V is the profitability of long suffering. So in the middle of my meditation and time with the Lord, he gave me this topic basically. He said, write this, the profitability. And I'm like, what is the profitability of long suffering? Who wants to be in long suffering? Who wants to go through the pain? But at any rate, this book is a combination of my life, things that my husband and I experienced, just life. So if you can relate and you're looking for some type of solace or some type of advice, if you will, about how to get through it and what it even means, make sure you go to our link tree and check that out because the link is there in our link tree. And you can see our link tree on any of our social media sites from Facebook to TikTok to, let me put it there, Instagram, IG, Twitter. Just check us out. Marriage Enrichment, the Bakers, or you're going to see Team Bakers. It's a variation. And there you go with that. Now, the other thing is we want you to truly consider subscribing, as it says, to our YouTube channel. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we've been doing these podcasts and we love it. We enjoy it, but we want you to spread the word. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. Spread the word. We've had topics about postpartum depression. We've had Everybody's Not Married, although that's part of our focus, but it doesn't matter. The name of our podcast is Truth for Daily Living. So the truth is the truth, whether you're married or not, right? Amen. That's right. That's right. Make sure you subscribe and spread the news about Marriage Enrichment, the Bakers. Okay. Mm-hmm. And is there anything else you want to add, babe?
Just hit that notification button so you can receive notifications when we actually release another podcast as well. So get connected with us. Go to our website and also purchase some of the resources that we have available to you to help you to level up and to improve in some areas in your personal life as well as in your marital life as well.
All right. So we want to say thank you for joining us for this podcast. Yes. We are so grateful again for Dr. V for joining us. Check us out on all social sites. We're everywhere. Literally everywhere. Marriage Enrichment, the Bakers. You can't miss us. You're going to see these faces at the top somewhere or something. Yeah. You're going to see us. All right. So sometimes we're doing funny stuff. Sometimes we're doing serious stuff. It doesn't matter. Thank you for joining us, and we will be talking to you soon. So if that's it, we're going to end it with that. I'm Charlotte.
I'm Daryl.
I think you know that, right? He's Daryl, and we are the Bakers, known as Team Baker affectionately, and we will be talking with you soon. Check us out. Go to that link tree, too, to find out the next episode. We're going to give you the premiere. It's coming out, the premiere. You go to our link tree, you're going to get that link, all right? Talk to you. See ya.
All right.